Hi, I'm Zach, and this is Challenger Vedic Astrology and Tarot. Welcome to the channel. So today we're going to be talking about the Vedic Sidereal transits for mid-October to mid-November. And if you like my videos, be sure to like and subscribe. And if you'd like to get a personal reading or donate to help support the channel, the links to those will be in the description box in the comments below. And let's get into this. So, Sun's going to be transiting into Libra October 17th, and it'll be there till November 16th. And then we have Mars. Mars has been in Libra and will continue to be there also until November 16th. Now, for these overviews, I tend to keep it just on Mars. For the bigger transits, the slower moving planets like Jupiter, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, those I do specific videos for. But alright, let's get into this for each ascendant and moon sign. And make sure that you're looking at your ascendant and moon sign. This isn't like tropical astrology where you focus on your sun sign. Ascendant and moon are much more important in Vedic Sidereal Astrology. Okay, so let's do it. Alright, so we're kicking things off with Aries. So Aries, for you, Sun and Mars are both going to be in your 7th house. Now, Sun is your focus, and it's in the 7th house. 7th house is relationships, marriage, it's business partner. It's the masses. It's the 10th from the 10th house. That means it represents the higher form of your status. It's the house of fame. So, these are going to be your focus for mid-October to mid-November. Now let's talk about Mars. So Mars is here, and it's with Ketu and the Sun. One thing this is going to show is you can expect conflicts. Definitely. Now, those conflicts are going to take place with the people represented by the 7th house, which, like I said, are your relationship partner, your business partner, the people you deal with in business. There could be conflicts there. But Mars is also your energy and drive, so there's going to be a lot going on when it comes to, meeting new people, when it comes to starting a relationship. This is a great time for Aries ascendant or moon sign to start a relationship. But at the same time, be careful, because things can, get out of hand. Now let's talk about the aspects of Mars, because those are very important. Mars has a 4th, a 7th, and an 8th aspect. So we're going to talk about the 4th aspect first. 4th aspect is going to fall on your 10th. 4th aspect of Mars is tied to conquest. And the 10th house is your career. It's your workplace. It's your status. So Mars in the 7th house shows that you're going to want to conquer your workplace. You're going to want to be in charge. Maybe not necessarily over your bosses, but your work area, your coworkers. You're going to want to be the one in control. And that can cause conflict. But also, this is a good time to advance in your career. Now let's talk about the 7th aspect of Mars. 7th aspect is the confrontational aspect, and it's falling on the 1st house. You. 1st house is you and your body. So, this shows a lot of people are going to oppose you. You'll get into conflicts with a lot of people during this transit. But there's also a very big thing happening in this house. Not only is Mars aspecting it, triggering this event, but the slower moving planets, Saturn, Jupiter, and even Rahu, are all hitting Aries. Saturn was its 3rd aspect, and then Jupiter and Rahu were sitting there. This shows there's going to be a major change in Aries. Now this has been going on for a while, but by November 16th, you'll have experienced a big change. So Aries is you, your health, with it being your 1st house. So definitely there can be a change in your physical health. Now the 8th aspect of Mars is going to fall on your 2nd house. 8th aspect of Mars is transformation. It's sudden ups and downs. Falling on the 2nd house. 2nd house is family. It's your finances. So there can be a sudden change with the family during this time. And there can also be sudden ups and downs with your finances. This can be, good or bad. So just be aware of that. Alright, that's what I have for you, Aries. Taurus. Alright, Taurus. So, Sun and Mars are going to be in your 6th house. So, Sun being your focus, 6th house it's your health. It's your health problems. It's accidents. 6th house is your coworkers. It's your maternal aunts and uncles. It's your enemies. And it's your pets. It's also debt. So these are the areas of life that you'll be focused on during this time. But we also have Mars sitting here. And Mars is there with Ketu and the Sun. Now Mars is energy and drive. So it brings that here. It's going to have you put more energy into your everyday work and routines because 6th house represents that. But Mars is also going to cause conflict. You can have issues with your pets. Maybe they're, tearing up your house or something. But honestly, with Mars and Sun being here, you could even get a new pet. Mars here could show conflicts with your maternal aunts and uncles. Now, and your coworkers. But a good aspect of Mars being here is Mars gives you the energy and the drive to defeat your enemies. That's one very positive thing with this transit. But it's also energizing the house of debt. So it can build your debt if you're not careful. Now let's talk about the aspects of Mars. Mars has a 4th, a 7th, and an 8th aspect. So the 4th aspect is going to fall in your 9th house. 4th aspect of Mars is tied to conquest. So 9th house is your father. It's your teachers, mentors, guides. It's philosophy, religion, the law. 9th house is higher education. It's also foreign travel, pilgrimages. So, during this time, you're going to want to conquer your education. You're going to want to travel. You're going to want to get a better understanding of your philosophy and your, religious views. But you can also be a little domineering with your father and with your teachers. You're not going to want to listen to them. You'll think you'll know better. So, watch out for that. Now, 7th aspect of Mars is going to fall in the 12th house. And the 7th aspect of Mars is the confrontational aspect. It's Mars facing down his opponent. So, 12th house represents foreign people. It also represents multinational companies. 12th house is spirituality. It's bed pleasure, whether sex or sleep. It's losses. It's also your hidden enemies. So one good aspect of this aspect is Mars is going to have you confront your hidden enemies. But also you can get into conflicts with foreign people, with people that work at multinational companies. That can also take place. Now, you can expect a major change in this house though, because not only is Mars aspecting and triggering this, but Saturn has a 3rd aspect, and Jupiter and Rahu are sitting there. So all the slower physical planets are hitting the sign of Aries, and that'll be going on until November 16th. So there can be major changes with your spirituality. There could be foreign travels that you take. There can also be financial losses. So be aware of that. Now, the 8th aspect of Mars is going to fall on your 1st house. 8th aspect of Mars brings transformation and sudden ups and downs. And the 1st house is you, and it's your physical body. So, there can be a big change in your health. Now, this can be good or bad, so definitely be careful with this. And you do have a lot of malefics in your 6th house of health and accidents. So I'd say be very careful. Now, this can be positive, though, because malefics in the 6th house are generally a good thing. Because they give you the energy, the ability to combat health issues. But yeah, Mars being there can definitely show you're transforming your health. Now, like I said, this can be bad or good. So try to lean into the good side of that. Alright, that's what I have for you, Taurus. Alright, Gemini. So, for you, Sun has moved into Libra, your 5th house. So, Sun's your focus. 5th house is romance. It's fun and games. It's children. Your education. It's also speculative gains from business, because it's the 11th house from the 7th house of business. And it's also the 8th house from the 10th house of career. So it can show change of jobs, sudden changes in your career. So these are going to be your focus during this transit. Now let's talk about Mars. Mars is your energy and your drive, and it's here in your 5th house. So with this, we also see, a lot being put into education, into romance. Now, with Mars being there, with Ketu and the Sun, this can show conflicts with, fellow students in your education. This can show conflicts with your children, if you have children. So, that's something to look out for. Now let's talk about the aspects of Mars, because that's very important to look at. So Mars has a 4th, a 7th, and an 8th aspect. So the 4th aspect is conquest. It's what Mars wants to conquer, what you want to conquer during this transit. Now, this is falling on the 8th house. 8th house is research. It's the occult, mysticism. It's surgeries. It's sudden ups and downs, transformation. It's death. 8th house is taxes. It's other people's money. It's joint finances. It's married life. It's also sex. So, these are the areas that you're going to want to conquer. Mars being in the 5th house of romance. People usually want sexual activity from that. So that could be something you want to conquer. You could want to, learn more and need to do research in order to achieve that higher education that you want. You could, want to transform something in your life. Also, 8th house can be your in-laws. So you could be having conflict with your in-laws during this time because you're a little too domineering. You could be too domineering in your married life in general. Also, 8th house is inheritance. You could be trying to win over an inheritance. That could also be something going on. Now let's talk about the 7th aspect of Mars. 7th aspect is the confrontational aspect of Mars. And it's falling on your 11th house. 11th house is your elder siblings. It's your friends, large network circles. It's your hopes, wishes, desires. It's financial gain. It's your paternal aunts and uncles. It's also the stock market. Now, with Mars having the 7th aspect here, you can get into confrontation with people in large organizations. You could have conflict with your elder siblings and with your friends. But also you can expect major changes with the themes of this house, because not only is Mars aspecting it, but Saturn has a 3rd aspect, and then Jupiter and Rahu are also sitting here. So until November 16th, there could be a major change with your 11th house. You could achieve some hope, wish, or desire that you've really been wanting to achieve. There could be a major change in your friendships or with an elder sibling. There could be major financial gain that comes in for you. So, keep that in mind. Now, Mars also has an 8th aspect. 8th aspect brings sudden ups and downs and transformation. And it's falling on your 12th house. 12th house is foreign travel. It's foreign people. It's spirituality. It's losses, financial or otherwise. It's bed pleasure, so sex and sleep. So these are areas of your life that you'd want to transform. Maybe you've been losing too much money lately, so you want to transform that. You want to transform your losses to gains. Just as an example here. Like I said, Mars in the 5th house can show a lot of sexual energy with its aspect on the 8th house of sex and the 12th house of sex. There can be sudden ups and downs with foreign people that you know. There can be transformation of your spirituality during this time. Alright, that's what I have for you, Gemini. So, Cancer. Cancer for you, Sun, your focus is in the 4th house. So, your focus being here shows you could be focused on your mother, your home, land, real estate, vehicles, your comfort and your happiness. These are all things the 4th house represents. Now Mars is also sitting here. Mars is your energy and your drive. And it's sitting in the 4th house, affecting all these areas of life. So definitely, you could be moving home during this time. You could get a new car. But Mars being here does cause some issues. Especially being there with Ketu. And Sun doesn't help all that much. So there could be conflicts with your mother. And with people in your home during this time. Also, be careful. Drive safe. There could be a car accident. That is possible with this transit. Those are just things to keep in mind. Now, let's talk about the aspects of Mars. Mars has a 4th, a 7th, and an 8th aspect. So the 4th aspect of Mars is about conquest. And it's falling on your 7th house. 7th house, sign Capricorn for you. So, 7th house is relationships. It's your romantic partner. It's business and business partner. It's the masses. It's the 10th from the 10th house. That means it's your status, the higher form of your status. Higher form of your career. So, these are the areas you'd want to conquer during this transit of Mars. So you could be a little domineering in relationships, and maybe that's what's causing fights at home. You could be a little, too controlling in relationships and in business at this time. And controlling of other people that you meet in general. Like I said, 7th house is the masses. It's all the people out in the world that you see. Now let's talk about the 7th aspect of Mars. That's falling on your 10th house. So 7th aspect of Mars is confrontational. And 10th house is your managers, your bosses. It's your workplace. It's also the government. So there could be conflicts with government officials. So, be careful. You have Mars in the 4th house of vehicles, and it's aspecting the house of government. You could, have a traffic violation that causes an accident and get into a confrontation with a cop, just as an example of what could happen here. There can be conflicts with your managers and your bosses at work, with your coworkers. But you can definitely expect major changes in your career and your status, because not only is Mars aspecting this, but Saturn also has a 3rd aspect, and then Jupiter and Rahu are sitting here. So this is a lot of energy being put into this house by the slowest moving physical planets, the planets that have the biggest impact in our life during transit. So, big career changes, big changes in your status by November 16th, if you haven't already experienced this, while Mars has been aspecting Aries. Alright, so, that's what I have for you, Cancer. Alright, Leo. Leo, for you, Sun is in your 3rd house. So, Sun is your focus, and 3rd house is your younger siblings. It's your cousins, your neighbors. It's your friends. 3rd house is communication of all kinds, even writing. It's media, the internet. 3rd house is short distance travel. So these will be your focus during this time. And we also have Mars sitting here. So Mars is your energy and your drive. And it sitting here can show that you're putting more energy into your communication. You could be dealing with your brother more. Your younger brother, younger sister. You could be dealing with your neighbors more. But Mars here with Ketu and Sun can cause major conflicts with these people. Also, it's in the 3rd house of internet. All those keyboard warriors out there. So just be aware of that. Also, 3rd house is short distance travel. So you could definitely be traveling with Sun and Mars being here. 3rd house is also your skills. You could be focusing and putting more energy into your skills, acquiring new skills. 3rd house is effort. So you're going to be putting forth a lot of effort during this transit. Alright, now let's talk about the aspects of Mars, because those are very important. The 4th aspect is tied to conquest, and it's falling on your 6th house. So 6th house is your health. It's accidents, health issues. 6th house is your enemies. It's your maternal aunts and uncles. It's your coworkers. It's your pets. It's your work environment. That's 10th house. 6th house is your everyday routine. It's your everyday work. 6th house is also debt. So, this is where you want to conquer. You want to put more effort into your health. You want to defeat your enemies. Mars is giving you the energy to put in that effort to defeat them. But you can also get into conflicts with, your pets, with your maternal aunts and uncles, with your coworkers, because you're being too domineering. You're wanting to control things too much. Now, the 7th aspect of Mars is going to fall in the 9th house. 7th aspect of Mars is the confrontational aspect. 9th house is tied to your father. It's your teachers, mentors, guides. It's religion, philosophy, the law. So, you could get into conflicts with your father or father figures, with your mentors, teachers, guides, with religious people, with people in the law, judges, lawyers. I would say police officers are more like 10th house, though. Now, not only is Mars aspecting this house, but Saturn has a 3rd aspect falling here. And Jupiter and Rahu are sitting here. So this is a lot of energy by the slower moving physical planets. And then we have Rahu also sitting there. So you can expect major changes in the sign of Aries by November 16th. You could, 9th house is also higher education. It's foreign travel or long distance travel. It's pilgrimages. So there can definitely be major changes with this house. There could be major changes with your father and father figures even. 9th house is also publishing. With all this energy being put into your 3rd house of communication, which includes writing. You could be trying to write and publish a novel during this time. Alright, now we have the 8th aspect. 8th aspect is falling on the 10th house. 8th aspect brings sudden ups and downs and transformation. So 10th house is government. It's career, your workplace, your bosses and managers. It's the people at your work. It's also your status. So there can be sudden ups and downs and transformation when it comes to your status. Your bosses, there can be sudden things going on with them. Maybe they get promoted. Maybe they suddenly leave the job. There can be major transformation in your workplace. There could be a sudden change in your government even. But alright, that's what I have for you though, Leo. Alright, Virgo. Virgo, for you, Sun has moved into your 2nd house. 2nd house, first off, Sun represents your focus. Now, 2nd house is your speech. It's what you value. It's your possessions. 2nd house is your family. It's finances. So, what you earn. It's also your savings. So these are what you're going to be focused on during this time. You'll be focused on how much money you're making. Can you acquire the things that you want? Maybe there's a lot going on with your family right now. And with this transit, there probably most likely is. Now, Mars is sitting here. Mars is your energy and drive. Mars in the 2nd house energizes your finances. More money's coming in. But Mars is practical. Mars doesn't care about money. Mars cares about what can money get me. So when Mars is in the 2nd house, you tend to buy a lot more necessities. It's like you get food, you get, things you need for the house. You get essentials. So you have a lot of money coming in with Mars being there, but you also have a lot of money going out. Now, Mars being here, though, does show conflict with your family. Definitely. Being there with Ketu and Sun, there will definitely be conflict with your family. So, get ready. If it hasn't already started. Now let's talk about the aspects of Mars. So, Mars has a 4th, a 7th, and an 8th aspect. The 4th aspect is conquest, and it's falling on the 5th house. 5th house is romance. It's fun and games. It's children. It's your education. It's speculative gains through business. It's also gambling. So, Mars having an aspect that is all about conquering, falling on this house. During this time, you could want to get into a relationship. You could want romance in your life. You could, be trying to pursue education. You could want to have children. But you can be over-domineering in these areas. You can be overly controlling with your children. You could be overly controlling with fellow students in your educational field. So those are things to look out for. Also, 5th house is students. So if you're a teacher yourself, or even if you're a manager at work and you have people that work under you, you could be too controlling with them. Now, 7th aspect of Mars is falling on the 8th house. 7th aspect is the confrontational aspect. So 8th house represents your in-laws. It's married life. These are the primary people represented by the 8th house. So, these are the people that you can get into confrontation with. So not only are you fighting with your family, you're fighting with your partner's family too. It's terrible. But it's what you gotta deal with. Now, 8th house is also occult. It's research. It's sudden ups and downs and transformation. It's other people's finances. It's house of sex. If I didn't say it, sudden ups and downs and transformation. Now, Saturn also has a third aspect here, and Jupiter and Rahu are sitting here. So not only are the three slower moving physical planets of Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter all hitting this house, but Rahu's also sitting there. So you can expect major changes in this house by November 16th. Now, 8th house can be a difficult house. It's also a house of death and inheritance. Now, this aspect of Mars has been going on for a while, since back when it was in Virgo. So some of you may have already experienced, something difficult like this. But that is one thing that this can show. Now, Jupiter is sitting there, and Jupiter does help the situation. But either way, you can expect major changes tied to the things related to this house, like I said. Now, the 8th aspect of Mars is falling on your 9th house. 9th house is your father, your mentors, teachers, guides. It's religion, philosophy, the law. 9th house is long distance travel. So, this 8th aspect of Mars brings sudden ups and downs and transformation in these areas of life. So, maybe all this conflict with your family causes a sudden change between you and a father figure. Maybe there's a sudden change in your higher education during this time. Mars has an aspect on your 5th house of education and on your 9th house of higher education. So, that's what you have to look forward to, Virgo. Now, Libra. Alright, Libra. For you, Sun is in your Ascendant. Sun's your focus. So, your focus is now on the 1st house. 1st house is you and your physical body. So right now, you might be a little self-centered. Like, I need to focus on me for a bit. So you're focused on you and your health. What do you want out of life? Now Mars is here too. And Mars is your energy and your drive. So you're feeling energized. You're feeling like, yeah, I'm the one that can do this. I'm the hero of this story. You have the energy and the drive to do what needs to be done. Now, Mars here with Ketu and Sun, though, can show there could be like an accident or some health issue that comes up. Like Mars can represent cuts and burns, so I'd say be careful that you don't, have a small accident or something. So that's one thing to be aware of with this. Now, let's talk about the aspects of Mars, because those are very important to look at. Mars has a 4th, a 7th, and an 8th aspect. The 4th aspect is conquest, and it's falling on your 4th house. So, 4th house is your mother. It's your home, land, real estate. 4th house is vehicles. And it's also your comfort and your happiness. So these are the areas of life that you'd want to conquer during this time. So you could be wanting to get a new home. Wanting to move. You could be wanting to get a new car. Or get your car repaired. But you can also be a little domineering with your mother. Trying to control her and her life. You could be overly controlling with people that you live with. Now, Mars' 7th aspect is falling on the 7th house. Now, 7th aspect of Mars is confrontational. And 7th house is relationships and your romantic partner. It's also business and business partner. 7th house is the masses. It's the people you meet when you go out in the world. And 7th aspect brings confrontation with these people. You could get into conflicts in your relationships with your romantic partner or your business partner. With people you meet, you could have, seemingly random fights. But they're not random because Mars in your 1st house is showing. You could have conflicts with these people. Now, not only this, but we also have Saturn aspecting the 7th house with its 3rd aspect. And we have Jupiter and Rahu sitting here. So the 3 slower moving physical planets, Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter, are all hitting your 7th house. And then Rahu's sitting there. Rahu just exploding all of this energy. So you can expect major changes when it comes to your 7th house from now until November 16th. That's when Mars will no longer be triggering this. So, for Libra ascendants and moon signs, some of you could be beginning a new relationship or taking your relationship to the next level, being committed, getting married. There could be major changes in your business if you run a business. Also, 7th house is it's 10th from the 10th house. It's the higher form of your status. The higher form of your career. It's like most people work a job. 7th house being business. Higher form of your career is owning your own business for a lot of people. So, these are the areas of life where there can be significant changes by November 16th. Alright, well let's look at your 8th aspect of Mars now. So 8th aspect of Mars brings sudden ups and downs and transformation. And it's falling on the 8th house. So, 8th house is married life. It's your in-laws. It's death. It's inheritance. Taxes. It's sex. It's anything hidden. It's the occult. Mysticism. It's research. So these are the areas of life where there can be sudden ups and downs and transformation. And this is the house of sudden ups and downs and transformation. 8th house is also surgeries. So during this time, you do have Mars, Ketu, and Sun all in your 1st house of the body and health. There could be a surgery that you've been needing, and now you have the chance to get it. That's something that this could show, potentially. Now, I would say Saturn and Jupiter would have to be also hitting this house to show something that extensive, but definitely there can be sudden ups and downs and changes with your in-laws, with your finances, with research if you're involved in that kind of thing. Alright, that's what I have for you, Libra. Alright, Scorpio. So, Sun has moved into your 12th house. Sun's your focus. And 12th house is foreign people and foreign lands. It's multinational companies. 12th house is loss, financial or otherwise. 12th house is spirituality. It's bed pleasures, that's sex and sleep. 12th house is also investments, because when you're losing money, it can be to invest into something where you're temporarily losing money with the hopes of getting more money down the line. So it can also be investments. So these are the areas of life where you'll be focused during this time. But also Sun being in the 12th house. 12th house is also isolation. It's hospitals, jails, asylums. So you could want to be more isolated during this time. That's definitely possible. Now Mars is also here. Mars is your energy and drive. So you could be putting more energy into your spiritual pursuits or your sexual pursuits. You know, it represents both. Alright. Now, Mars being here, though, especially with Ketu and Sun, can show conflicts with foreign people, with spiritual people even. Also, Mars being your energy and drive, in the 12th house of losses, Mars is energizing losses during this time. So you could be losing more money than usual. So that's something to be aware of. Now, let's talk about the transits of Mars. Mars has a 4th, a 7th, and an 8th aspect. I think I said Mars transits, don't worry about it. Alright, the aspects of Mars. So, the 4th aspect of Mars is tied to conquest. And that's falling on the 3rd house. Now, 3rd house is your younger sibling. It's your cousins, your friends, your neighbors. 4th house is internet, media. It's communication of all kinds. It's your skills. It's your effort. It's also your, one second, slipped my mind here. Oh, short distance travel. There we go. Like I'm forgetting one thing here. Alright. So, these are the areas of life that you'd want to conquer during this transit. So you can be a little domineering with your younger siblings, with your friends, your cousins, your neighbors, with people online. You know, turning into a keyboard warrior. So, watch out for that. Now, the 7th aspect of Mars is falling on the 6th house. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is 12th house is also your hidden enemies. So Mars being there is also giving you the energy and drive to deal with your hidden enemies. And the reason I say that is Mars having a 7th aspect on the 6th house. 7th aspect is confrontational. 6th house is the enemies you know. So definitely there can be, you know, confrontation with your enemies, hidden or otherwise. Now, 6th house is also your maternal aunts and uncles. It's your coworkers. It's your pets. It's your body, your health issues, mainly. 6th house is also debt. It's your everyday work, everyday routines. It's competition. So there can be conflicts with people at work, with your enemies, with your maternal aunts and uncles, and even with your pets. You know, maybe they had an accident in the house or something. I don't know. Now, not only does Mars have a 7th aspect here, but Saturn also has a 3rd aspect. And then Jupiter and Rahu are also sitting there. So, the 3 slower moving physical planets of Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter are all hitting this house. And Rahu's sitting there exploding all of this energy. So you can expect major changes in this house by November 16th. And Mars is triggering this until then. So, there can be major changes in your health during this transit. I mean, Sun and Mars and Ketu are all sitting in the 12th house. That's tied to hospitals. And all this energy building up in your 6th house of health and health issues. Now, Jupiter's sitting there, affecting this house and aspecting the 12th house. So, there is positive influence here that, you know, this could be good for your health. To, you know, need to go to a hospital to get checked on. There can be major changes with your maternal aunts and uncles. Major changes with debt. Frankly, Rahu and Jupiter there could have been exploding your debt. And, you know, hopefully you're able to get a handle on that. now that Mars is triggering this. Yeah, there could be major changes in your everyday routines, everyday work. So those are things to keep in mind. Now, the 8th aspect of Mars is falling on the 7th house. 8th aspect brings sudden ups and downs and transformation. 7th house is your relationships. It's your business and business partners. It's the higher form of your status, higher form of your career. So, this is where there can be sudden changes. 7th house is also fame. There can be a major transformation of how people recognize you in the world. There can be major changes in your relationship and with your business and business partners. Or there could be sudden events that you're not expecting. Alright, that's what I have for you, Scorpio. Sagittarius, for you, Sun has moved into your 11th house. Sun's your focus. 11th house is your elder siblings. It's your friends. It's your large network circles. It's your hopes, wishes, desires. It's financial gain. It's the stock market. So, Sun being here shows that you're focused on all this. Now, Mars is your energy and drive. So, Mars is energizing the house of gains. So, you could be gaining a lot financially during this time. But, Mars also brings conflict. And it's here with Ketu and Sun, making this even worse. So, you could definitely be getting into conflicts with your elder siblings, with your friends. 11th house is also your paternal aunts and uncles. So you get into conflicts with them, people in large organizations. So those are things to watch out for here. But Mars is giving you the energy and the drive to achieve your hopes, wishes, and desires. 11th house is also the gain of your status because it's second from the 10th house. So Mars is giving you the energy to try to accomplish that. Now, Mars has a 4th, a 7th, and an 8th aspect. So let's look at that, because those are very important. Now, the 4th aspect is falling on the 2nd house. 4th aspect of Mars is all about conquest. 2nd house is what you value. It's your family. It's your finances. So like your everyday earnings and your savings. So, Mars being in the 11th house of gains, aspecting the 2nd house of finances, earnings, and savings. Definitely there can be major financial gain during this transit. But you can be a little over-domineering with your family. So that's something to look out for. Now, 7th aspect of Mars is falling on the 5th house. 7th aspect is the confrontational aspect of Mars. 5th house is your education. So it's people that, fellow students. 5th house is also students. The people you teach. Whether they're, whether you're a teacher with regular students or you're like a manager with people under you at work. So you can get into confrontations with these people. 5th house is also children. You can have conflicts with your kids during this transit. Now, on top of this, we also have a 3rd aspect of Saturn hitting this house, and we have Jupiter and Rahu sitting here. So Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter, the 3 slower moving physical planets, and then Rahu expanding all of this energy, blowing it up. You can expect major changes with this house. Major changes in your education. Major changes with your children. Or having children. Major changes in romance. Maybe you've been wanting romance in your life and haven't been able to have a romantic partner. Now you could. Until November 16th. That's when this window of Mars's aspect here. Right now it's triggering this. But by November 16th, that'll stop. 5th house is also the 11th house of gain for the 7th house. This is a gain of gains from business. Speculative gains. It's gambling. I don't recommend you go blowing a bunch of money. You have to have specific placements in your charts to gain from, gambling and stock market and all that nonsense. But these are all the areas of life that can receive this major change during this transit. Now, the 8th aspect of Mars brings sudden ups and downs and transformation, and that's falling on your 6th house. So, 6th house is your maternal aunts and uncles. It's your coworkers. It's your everyday work and everyday routines. It's your pets. It's your enemies. It's also debt. It's your health and health issues. It's also accidents. So, Mars having an 8th aspect here, there can be sudden changes in your health. There can be sudden transformation of your debt. Maybe you're overcoming debt issues. There could be major changes with, your pets, with your maternal aunts and uncles, with your coworkers. Sudden events and transformation is what this will bring. Alright, that's what I have for you, Sagittarius. Capricorn. Capricorn, for you, Sun has moved into your 10th house. And Sun's your focus. 10th house is government. It's your career, your work environment. It's your status. It's your karmic actions in this world. So, Sun being here shows that you're focused on all these things. You're focused on your career, on your workplace, on trying to have status in your life. And Mars is sitting here. Mars is your energy and drive. It's in the house of career and the workplace and status. You have the energy and drive to, throw into your work to try to achieve that status. But this can also cause issues. 10th house is government. So you can have issues with government officials like cops. 10th house is your managers, your bosses. You can get into conflicts with them. It's your workplace, so you can get into conflicts with coworkers. So you definitely need to be careful with this. Now, let's talk about the aspects of Mars, because those are very important. Mars has a 4th, a 7th, and an 8th aspect. 4th aspect is conquest, and it's falling on the 1st house. 1st house is you. It's your physical body, your health. So, you want to conquer you. You want to conquer you, your health, your body. You want to be a better you. You want to be stronger. You want to be able to make a change in your life. Mars is giving you the energy and the drive to do that. Now, the 7th aspect of Mars is falling on the 4th house. 7th aspect brings confrontation. 4th house is your mother. It's the people in your home. So these are the people you can get into conflicts with during this time. And since I'm mentioning this, 10th house is your mother-in-law. So Mars, Ketu, and Sun being here, you can also get into conflicts with your mother-in-law. So not just your mother, but also your mother-in-law. Enjoy. Enjoy the gift of planetary influence. Alright. Now, this 7th aspect falling on the 4th house, though, is triggering something major here. Because Saturn also has a 3rd aspect here. And Jupiter and Rahu are sitting here as well. Now, Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter are the 3 slowest moving physical planets. They have the biggest impact on our lives during transit. And Rahu is also sitting here, exploding all of this energy. So there will be major changes in your 4th house by November 16th. This has been going on for a while, since Mars was back in Virgo, but definitely there can be these major changes. Now, fourth house isn't just your mother and the people in your home. It's also your home. It's land, real estate. It's your vehicles. It's your comfort and your happiness. So, these are the areas of life that can all receive a major change. You can move into a new home. There could be something that comes up with your mother. Maybe there are big changes in her life right now. There can be major changes in your comfort and your happiness. You could get a new car. These are the kinds of things that can happen. Now, the eighth aspect of Mars is falling on the fifth house. Eighth aspect brings sudden ups and downs and transformation. Now, fifth house is romance. It's fun and games. It's children. It's your education. It's the fellow students in your educational field. It's your subordinates, whether they're subordinates at work or your students if you're a teacher. So there can be sudden ups and downs and transformation with these people. Fifth house is also politics. It's eighth from the 10th house of career. So it can also be sudden transformation of career. It can be change of job even. So definitely there can be transformations in these areas of life, sudden events. You could transform your education during this time. Maybe you're not liking, the course that you're in. So you're wanting to change it. Or maybe you just want to change how you're doing in that course. You could suddenly begin a new romance. Or transform the romance that you're in. Fifth house is also the 11th house of gain from the 7th house. It's the financial gain of business. It's speculative gains. It's gambling. So there could be, sudden gains through, getting a lottery ticket or something. You have to have specific placements in your chart for big winnings like that and stuff, but definitely you can see things like that. Alright, that's what I have for you though, Capricorn. Alright, Aquarius. So, for you, Sun has moved into your 9th house. Now, Sun's your focus. And 9th house is your father figures. It's your teachers, your mentors, your guides. 9th house is higher education. It's religion, philosophy, law. 9th house is publishing. It's long distance travel and pilgrimages. So these are the areas of life that you're going to be focused on during this transit. Also, Mars is sitting here. And Mars is your energy and your drive. So you're going to be putting more energy into your higher education. You're going to put more energy into your philosophy, into your religious views, into legal matters. 9th house is also, like I said, your father figures, mentors, teachers, and guides. And Mars being there with Ketu and Sun, Mars brings conflict. So definitely there can be major conflict with a father figure or with your teachers. So be aware of that. Definitely that there could be a big blowout there. Now, let's talk about the aspects of Mars, because those are very important. The 4th aspect of Mars is falling on the 12th house. 4th aspect of Mars brings conquest. It's what you want to conquer. So, 12th house is spirituality. It's foreign people, foreign places. It's hospitals, jails, asylums, any place where you feel isolated. It's multinational companies. It's losses, financial or otherwise. It's also investments, because you first have to lose money in the hopes of gaining more down the line. 12th house is also bed pleasure. That includes sex and sleep. So, with Mars having an aspect of conquest here, Maybe you're, wanting to expand your sexual horizons, get laid. Maybe you're wanting to travel to foreign places. But Mars with that fourth aspect of conquest can be over-domineering. You could be over-domineering with foreign people. Hopefully you're not being over-domineering with, somebody in a sexual sense. Unless they want it, of course. Damn it. Leave me alone. Alright. But yeah, wanting to conquer your spiritual pursuits. Wanting to achieve something with your investments. Focused on controlling that aspect. Now, seventh aspect of Mars brings confrontation, and it's falling on your third house. Third house is your younger siblings. It's your cousins, your neighbors. It's your friends. It's internet. So these are all people you can get into confrontations with. All those keyboard warriors out there. Also get into conflicts with your younger siblings, your cousins, your friends, your neighbors. So watch out for that. Now, on top of this, third house also represents short distance travel. It's your efforts, it's your skills, it's communication of all kinds, it's media. So, Saturn also has a third aspect on this house, and Jupiter and Rahu are sitting here. So Mars is triggering this event here until November 16th. And Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter are the three slower moving physical planets. They have the biggest impact on our lives during transit. And then Rahu's sitting there exploding this energy. So there can be major changes in these areas of life. There can be major changes with your younger siblings, with your cousins, with your neighbors even. If you're involved in media, there could be major changes there. You could be doing a lot of short distance travel. You could be writing a novel. These are all things that could be taking place during this time. Also, you could be learning new skills, putting more effort into things in your life. Now, the eighth aspect of Mars brings sudden ups and downs into transformation. And it's falling on the fourth house. Fourth house is your mother. It's your home, land, real estate. It's vehicles. Fourth house is also your comfort and your happiness. So, there can be sudden ups and downs and changes with your mother. Maybe she's struggling health-wise. And, that could either improve or get worse. There could be sudden changes in your home. Maybe you're moving. Mars is in the ninth house of travel. Aspecting the third house of travel. Aspecting the 12th house of travel. Every house of travel being impacted. So maybe you're suddenly moving. Maybe you, suddenly have a vehicle issue while you're traveling. Hopefully not, right? But Mars, Ketu, and Sun being in that ninth house, that can show issues in traveling. But yeah, also there could be, sudden things that come up with land and real estate. Maybe you're transforming your land. Maybe you're transforming your home, having it renovated. That kind of thing could be possible. Alright, that's what I have for you though, Aquarius. Alright, Pisces. So, for you, Sun has moved into your 8th house. Now, Sun's your focus, and 8th house is married life. It's your in-laws. It's joint finances. It's sex. It's anything hidden. It's occult, mysticism, research. It's ups and downs and transformation. It's other people's finances. It's taxes. It's inheritance, death. So, These are the areas of life where you are focused right now. Now, Mars is also here. Mars is your energy and your drive. So Mars is giving you the energy to transform things in your life right now. But Mars can also bring conflict. So there can be conflict with your in-laws. There can be conflict in your married life. But also, 8th house being joint finances, it's also joint finances and business as well. This can show financial gain during this transit. 8th house being sex, Mars being energy and drive in the house of sex. You could have, more of a sex drive during this transit. Now let's talk about the aspects of Mars, because those are very important. Mars has a 4th, a 7th, and an 8th aspect. The 4th aspect of conquest is falling on the 11th house. 11th house is your elder siblings. It's your friends. It's large organizations. It's your hopes, your wishes, your desires. It's financial gain. It's the stock market. It's the gain of your status, because it's second from the 10th house. So these are the areas of life you'll want to conquer during this time. You can be over-domineering with your elder sibling, with your friends, with people in large organizations. Also, 11th house is your paternal aunts and uncles. So you can be over-domineering with them too. Now, 7th aspect of Mars brings confrontation, and it's falling on your 2nd house. So, 2nd house is family. It's what you value. It's your earnings, your savings, finances. So, not only are you having conflict with your in-laws, you're also having conflict with your family. Yeah, you just gotta deal with it. That planetary influence, can't escape it. Now, also, Saturn has a 3rd aspect here from the 12th house, and Jupiter and Rahu are sitting here. Now, Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter are all impacting this house, and they are the slowest moving physical planets. They have the biggest impact on our lives during transit. Now, Mars is what's triggering this, because Mars is faster than the other two. And Mars will be triggering this until November 16th. So. Oh, yeah. And Rahu is also exploding this energy, sitting there. Now, 2nd house being family, finances, your earnings, your savings, what you value. There can be major changes with your family and with your finances during this transit. So, watch out for that. Now, this could have already happened. Mars has been triggering this since it was back in Virgo. But this can still take place for, just over the next month. Now, the 8th aspect of Mars brings sun ups and downs of transformation. And that's falling on your 3rd house. 3rd house is younger siblings. It's your cousins, your friends, your neighbors. It's media, internet. It's communication. It's your skills. It's your efforts. It's short distance travel. So these are all the areas of life where there can be sudden ups and downs and transformation. There could be sudden changes with your younger sibling, with your cousins, your friends, your neighbors. But yeah, so that's what I have for you, Pisces. Alright, so thanks for watching, everybody. And if you like my videos, be sure to like and subscribe. And if you'd like to get a personal reading or donate to help support the channel, the links to those will be in the description box and the comments below. thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.